Welcome to Let's Talk Jonesboro. Today we have Clint O'Neal, and he's Vice President of Global Business for the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. Thank you, Clint, for joining us. Hey, tell us a little bit, one, about your role in the AEDC and larger what AEDC does.
Sure. Well, thanks, Bill, again for having me. Really enjoy my time that I've spent in Jonesboro, and so it's an honor to be able to be a part of what you guys are doing. The Arkansas Economic Development Commission is the state agency for economic development. It's a governor's cabinet level agency that helps job creation around the state. We have several divisions that do various things, including helping existing companies grow, recruiting new companies, working with communities on their strategic plans and their community development initiatives, everywhere down to our film commission and military affairs. The divisions that I just listed are part of what I oversee in what we call global business. So I'm one of 4 members of our executive team, led by our executive director, Mike Preston. I lead our external efforts of some of the divisions that I just mentioned of job growth, and primarily keeping our companies in the state satisfied with doing business in the state.
Now, do you participate in the governor and Mike's basketball games?
I have.
Yeah? Okay.
You know, the governor is in excellent shape, and Mike is as well.
But he thinks he's post player, right? I mean, and you're what? Are you a power forward? What do you do?
More of a guard, I would say.
Well, now that we got the important stuff out of the way, you know, recently Jonesboro was distinguished by you guys to be considered a competitive community. Now that's mumbo jumbo to most people, but it means something. It's significant. Can you explain that?
Sure. Let me give the backstory of the Competitive Communities Initiative. We rolled this out in March of 2018 because we realized that when we have a company or a consultant call our office and say, we need a community that has a site that's build ready, that's shovel ready, we need a community that has their workforce narrative together. We need to go in and understand what they're doing from a workforce development standpoint. We need to go in and understand that this community is ready to compete. So we put some metrics around this, working with a third-party outside consulting firm to say, what does it take to be a competitive community? So we built this initiative. The governor rolled it out about a year ago, and we focused on 4 pillars: the economic development organization, economic development funding, sites and buildings, or what we call product readiness, and workforce development, to make sure that there's a strong connection between educators and industry in a community, and make sure they have a workforce development plan that works well for their community. So there's a evaluation team for each community, including our team, utility partners, and others that look at a submission, make recommendations for best practices. And so it was a great honor to be able to award Jonesboro as one of 4 competitive communities since the time that we've rolled this out.
What do cities need to do to help you guys attract industry? And I say this thinking back to long before I arrived in Jonesboro, some very smart business leaders determined that food industry was something that Jonesboro was meant for. How do cities figure out what's their niche, and how do they help themselves and let you help them?
Well, I think every business decision comes down to 4 major buckets. So each one is a little bit different, and we always try to understand the key drivers of keeping Arkansas companies satisfied and what it's going to take to recruit new ones. But so there's the bucket of workforce. Workforce development is key on everyone's mind. There's low unemployment rate. The economy is going well nationwide. What communities are really developing a pipeline for workforce? That's on the top of every executive's mind as they look to make decisions and do their location analysis for job location. There's product readiness of, if you have the greatest workforce in the world but nowhere to build a building, nowhere to move in, then that's going to be a real challenge for any community. There's the issue of business cost. So everywhere from the tax climate to just kind of the ease of doing business and the incentives that are part of every project. That's all part of the business cost. Mm-hmm. And then those 3 may be in place, and they may be well and good, but the fourth is that community support. It's having an organization, having leaders in town to really walk communities step by step through the process. You guys have an excellent team with Mark Young and the group at the Chamber and Jonesboro Unlimited, and that's been one of the reasons for Jonesboro's success.
And they have been very good at getting the right types of industries to meet our citizenry. We also, though, and this is not just an Arkansas thing, it's not just even a Southern thing, but there are types of industries that we want to recruit better pay.
Right.
And I know that's always, something that you guys are pushing for, to ensure that people get paid well and, and that the jobs that you bring in do pay well. How hard is that? And are there things that can be done by the community to help with that?
Well, for example, the community of Jonesboro long ago had a lot of forethought in, if we're going to recruit high-paying manufacturing and food processing jobs, we've got to develop space. So the development that went into the industrial parks around town were key. So you have this great industrial park, you have this great workforce, so you're able to be selective. If a company comes along and says, we're looking to pay minimum wage, they're not going to get the same treatment. They're not going to get the same incentives that a company on the higher end would be treated with. So the better a community positions themselves, the more selective they can be when it comes time for a business recruitment project. Bill, a lot of people are surprised to know that statewide, the average wage of a manufacturing job is higher than the total average wage.
Really?
Manufacturing jobs in the state of Arkansas, a lot of them are great paying jobs. A lot of companies have a great career track system. So it's always rewarding to hear about a company that we've worked with who has maybe put someone to work right after high school or right after a technical training program, and have watched those individuals work their way up into a greater role within that company.
I think when you talk about competitive communities, Jonesboro right now is just one of a handful that have earned that designation in Arkansas. But we're always trying to learn from other communities. The Mayor Perrin, and other leaders in this city are regularly traveling to cities in Arkansas and beyond to look at good ideas. Can you talk about, and maybe another city, because you travel the whole state and probably several others, global business, I would think you may have a few things on the other side of the planet that you've seen that you want to get ideas from. What type of things can Jonesboro add?
Sure. Well, Bill, I'll talk a little bit about my recent experience in Kansas City.
Okay.
Kansas City is a market that 20 years ago was completely different than it is today. The Downtown Council in Kansas City has a pretty amazing before and after slideshow of what it looked like downtown, and then what it looks like today with the redevelopment. But it's not just about real estate. It's about the psyche of the people. There's a lot of Kansas Cityans who are fans of the Royals and Chiefs. That kind of gives them something to rally around. But there are T-shirts that are popular in Kansas City that just say KC. They don't reflect a sports team. It just reflects the community, the region. There's a lot of pride in this region. And so people are proud of their city, and there's kind of this cool factor that definitely wasn't there just a few years back. So I think communities across the state of Arkansas and across the country that can really engage with their citizens to say, let's be proud of our community. Let's know who we are, and let's have things that we rally around, whether that's attendance at a ASU football game or other just keystone marks of a community. Jonesboro does a great job, but I would say anything that the community can just rally around really helps.
Can you dig deep into that? Can you think of any specific examples? Because Kansas City, some of us took a trip to Kansas City within the past year, and it's changed. I've seen it myself since I used to travel to Kansas City. So can you think of ways, I want to put together ideas for Jonesboro. Can you think of some things that you've seen actually work? Because we have ASU, and we're very proud. Nothing is more important, I think, to Jonesboro than Arkansas State University. And they've done a lot of things to make Jonesboro what it is and prevent us from decline, much less the advancement that we've made. But there's got to be some other things that people aren't thinking about.
Sure. So we talk a lot about economic development, industrial recruitment, recruitment of primary jobs. But at the end of the day, it's about people. These are personal decisions. Data is very important. People are looking at the data on these business decisions. But at the end of the day, it comes down to families choosing whether they're going to live in Jonesboro, Arkansas, or another area in the United States. People are very willing to move these days, and so that quality of life is incredibly important. It's incredibly important for the retention of the young people in town, for those that are being recruited. So any community that undertakes an initiative, whether it's in soccer programs for the youth, or arts programs, or anything that really engages their citizens and makes them proud of their community, that translates over into economic development success.
Jonesboro has 3 opportunity zones, and can you explain to people what they offer and what that means to Jonesboro?
Sure. The Opportunity Zone program was rolled out as a part of the tax code with the federal government. The guidelines are being unveiled in phases, so to be determined the exact benefits of an opportunity zone, but it's basically the federal government's way of incentivizing investments in areas of our country with challenges. So Arkansas had the opportunity, as every other state did, to designate 25% of the eligible census tracts based on things like employment rates and poverty rates. A lot of Arkansas was eligible, but we took 25% of those zones and designated them as opportunity zones. It gives investors incentives to invest in those tracts of land. So it's an incredible opportunity for Jonesboro to promote investment both in industry and downtown development and real estate and a number of businesses.
That's right. And Jonesboro's 3 opportunity zones are the industrial park, downtown, and North Jonesboro. So we're appreciative of that. Are there any other things that you guys are working on that we need to know about?
We promote communities across Arkansas, and we're incredibly proud of everything that's going on. It's great to stay in touch with Jonesboro. I know you guys have some incredible initiatives going on. Not too long ago, unveiled the Veterans Home. I think I want to congratulate the community on what you're doing to take care of our veterans. I think that's a step in the right direction. Everything that's going on at ASU. A lot of our focus, as I said, is on industrial recruitment, but we want to be plugged in very closely with the entrepreneurship efforts of ASU, keeping these, keeping away from the brain drain. We want the best and the brightest who grow up in Jonesboro, who go to school in Jonesboro, to stay right here and grow this community.
Well, and Jonesboro is grateful to every department of the state government, because there are so many things that we have to have your help for that you guys take care of. As the mayor said 100 times, we can't take care of ourselves on sales tax alone, and the grant for the Veterans Village that came from ADFA and the stuff that AEDC does for us is just a gratitude, and it's a blessing that we have. So he's Clint O'Neal. He is Vice President for Global Business with the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. Clint, thank you for visiting with us on Let's Talk Jonesboro.
You're welcome. Thanks, Bill.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.